Mr. Matas, how do you compare the Nazis' persecution with the persecution of the Jewish people with the persecution of Falun Gong?
Well, I mean, there are some differences, of course, because the Nazis were invading foreign countries to kill Jews, which, I mean, the Chinese have a kind of global persecution against Falun Gong and incitement to hatred, but they're not invading foreign countries to kill Falun Gong. And the Nazis were, it didn't matter if you converted to Christianity or even Nazism. If you were Jewish, you'd still be killed. Whereas with the communists, if you renounce Falun Gong and embrace communism and denounce fellow Falun Gong, they'll leave you alone. And also with the Nazis, there was no kind of rational connection between their hatred of the Jews and the political power or ethnic struggles. And in China, there's a kind of perverted rationality of the persecution of Falun Gong because it's a blending and updating of ancient Chinese traditions, and communism is Western and modern. Falun Gong is spiritual and communism is atheist, and the Falun Gong is very popular, became more popular than communism, and the communists became jealous and took pride about their ideological supremacy there. So there's a kind of rationality, a perverted rationality that exists for the repression of Falun Gong that didn't exist with the Nazi killing of the Jews. But there is some similarities as well, because there's the incitement to hatred that leads to depersonalization. There's the massive cover-up. I mean, it's right now we have the Nazi records, and it makes it much easier to document the Holocaust. But at the time the Holocaust was happening, the Red Cross went to Theresienstadt, and it was a pretend Potemkin village where the Jews were supposedly being treated well. The Red Cross even came to Auschwitz, and they noticed the showers weren't working and complained the showers weren't working. But what they didn't notice is that what they were looking at was gas chambers where the showers were fake. So we had this old report of the Red Cross complaining about the showers not working, and without any realization of what was happening. And there is that sort of cover-up in China right now, where they deny everything, they pretend nothing exists, and a lot of people are misled. The Red Cross can't even get into China, into the detention camps. The foreign minister at one time in China said they could come in if they asked, and they did ask, but they weren't allowed in. And of course, I mean, the numbers aren't commensurate. In China, I estimate that and others have estimated that the Falun Gong being killed for their organs are in the tens of thousands, and of course with the Nazis we were dealing with millions. But there is also this similarity. It's that there is this human nature which hasn't changed, but technology has developed, which it means that the scope for doing evil and wreaking havoc and harm has increased tremendously. I mean, we saw that with the Nazis, with the train system, with the modern bureaucracy, with the organization of the modern state, and we see that today with transplant surgery, which was developed for human good, but is technologically morally neutral, and in evil hands can wreak great harm. So I would say there's those similarities. My reaction to the Holocaust, because I think one of the things we have to do in facing the Holocaust is, well, we have to realize its distinctive nature, that it is unique, but also we can't isolate it from the rest of humanity. The Holocaust was inflicted by ordinary people acting out ordinary human emotions, and it involved, I mean, millions were killed, and to do that involved the cooperation of tens of thousands of people everywhere the Nazis went, except for in Germany and Austria. They didn't know the language, they didn't know the locations, they didn't know the people, and they required local cooperation. So my attitude to the Holocaust is, even though it has its unique features, that we should try to learn the lessons from the Holocaust and apply them to contemporary circumstances and other atrocities. And one of the lessons I felt that I've learned from the Holocaust is the need for individuals around the world to protest human rights violations, particularly those violations that are they're not the victims. I mean, human rights violations are a spreading uncontainable stain. We saw that with the Holocaust, which I mean was targeting the Jews, but ended up killing many non-Jews as well. There was 11 million people killed in the Nazi extermination camps, 6 million of which were Jews, 5 million who were not, were Romos, homosexual, political opponents, Jehovah's Witnesses, and so on. And then, of course, I mean, the Nazis were invading foreign countries to kill Jews, and that led to World War II, and the attacks of the Nazis on the Allied powers led to the weakening of the colonial powers and the war of aggression of Japan and Asia, and altogether there was around 60 million people killed in World War II because of the Nazi hatred of the Jews, and the killing of Falun Gong for their organs is something that we can't wait for somebody to come for you or to come for me for their organs to try to stop. We have to try to stop it, even though it's far away and not connected directly to us, because if we wait till it gets to us, it's far too late. We are dealing with, as I say, human nature. This hasn't changed, but technology changes, and as technology accelerates, the capacity to do harm accelerates, the capacity of fewer people to do more harm accelerates. I mean, technology expands the power of each one of us to do good or to do evil. When the Holocaust happened, it was unprecedented and unimaginable, and people who heard about it couldn't believe it. Even when presented with the facts, it was so incredible. But now, it gave us an insight into the depth of depravity to which the human soul can sink. We came to see through the Holocaust that evil and inhumanity is the bottomless pit. And so now I would say that we have no reason to be surprised. That now we should know that these things can happen, and we should be prepared to deal with them. I mean, of course, it's to me a great matter of dismay that these things continue to happen. But because of the Holocaust, I have to say that I'm not surprised, because we now know that such things can happen. This is an event which is to commemorate the Holocaust, and I think if we want to honor the memory of the victims of the Holocaust, we can't just remember what happened in the past. We have to learn from the past and extract, taking into account, of course, the unique nature of the Holocaust, take what lessons we can from it and apply them to present circumstances. That never again doesn't mean just stopping the Holocaust from happening again. It means stopping presently atrocities of whatever sort, that we should be prepared for the use of technology to recreate harm. We should be prepared for people to do almost anything in the name of evil. We should be aware of the problem of incitement to hatred. We should not be misled by cover-up, disguise, doublespeak, bafflegab, and we should confront the human rights violations we see around us in the world today directly.